Good afternoon, friends. Hope you're all having a fantastic day wherever you are tuning in from. If you are new around here, my name is Kenzie. Welcome to or welcome back to Willow Creek Homestead. And for this week's video, we are just going to be spending the entire week together and making meals and dinners with one another. These are typically not the types of videos that I film because, as you can see, it's hard for me to film after I come home from work some days. I'm just always covered in paint and dirt. But I was like, you know what? You guys don't care, right? Like, I don't have to get dolled up and the house doesn't have to be perfect to like film and make videos with you guys. Like, we're cool like that now, hopefully. So I just thought that it would be fun. I have a lot of different things that I plan to make throughout the week. It varies on like what my family and I cook, just based on, you know, like what we might have down in the pantry, what we have in the fridge, etc., etc. So we'll see what we can come up with together throughout the week. I went to the Dutchman store the other day, whenever I did that canning video with you guys, and got a bunch of beans, but I also got a bunch more chicken. They have amazing deals on chicken. I got an entire, like, I'm talking like huge bag filled with leg quarters for, I think it was like $10.90. So I separated the bag into 3 parts. I did 2 other parts of the bag in the freezer, marinated, and then this one I did all lemon pepper. So we are going to use some of this for meal prep, and then we're going to use the rest of it to turn into lemon pepper chicken orzo soup. Lemon pepper chicken orzo soup is a recipe that we made together during our pantry challenge last year, and ever since I tried it, we have been absolutely obsessed with it. If you've never had lemon pepper in your soups, I promise it's fantastic. So this is all pre-seasoned. It's just been sitting in my refrigerator, getting nice and seasoned and all the good stuff, you know, marinating and whatnot. So we're just waiting for the oven to warm up, and then I'm going to go ahead and get this in there. And then I'll show you how we assemble the soup. But in the meantime, let's clean the kitchen up, shall we? Because I still have not cleaned up from yesterday's shenanigans. And there's a lot of stuff that needs put away, so let's tackle that project together. This is always what my kitchen looks like after doing videos with you guys. It's just like dirty dishes, clean dishes, canning stuff needs put away, jars need put downstairs. I mean, it's just never ending. If you are going to try and do food from scratch and preserve food, just know that you will clean your kitchen just in time to get it dirty all over again. So I just need to take a bunch of this stuff downstairs really quickly. Every single time that I get home from work, I have roughly like an hour and a half to 2 hours each time until my daughter gets home from school. And then I have to go meet her at the bus stop. So usually I am just rushing, trying to get everything done before she gets here because it's a little bit difficult to do with a little one. I did go ahead and get all of our other meals in a jar down here. So from about here over are all of our new ones. And then we have 1 jar of just some turkey and celery. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put our brand new jar of navy beans all the way in the back over here. I have been trying to be better about putting jars away each time, but I need to go back through them all. So for now, the rest of them are just going to go down here. And then I wanted to show you guys some of our seed updates. You see all of these? These are the Patterson and Red Wing onions sprouting. And then I also, let me see if I can focus you in here. Oh, see it right there? That itty bitty little rosemary sprout. I only have 2 of them coming up right now, but super happy that some of them even germinated because usually I don't have very good luck with it. Okay, got the chicken out of the oven, so that is good to go. Now we are just going to go ahead and get some onions and carrots cut up, and you can throw whatever you would like to in this recipe. If you had celery, you could use celery, you could use anything you want, really. It's very, very versatile. My husband and I are really big fans of lemon pepper chicken. So whenever I found this recipe, I was like, I bet that would be fantastic as a lemon pepper lover. And I promise it is. There's tons of different recipes that you can throw lemon pepper into that are absolutely divine. And this one happens to be one of them, but it is very versatile. So anything that you have on hand that you want to put in, you could do potatoes too. Instead of the orzo, you could do like a lemon pepper chicken potato soup. I feel like that would be really good too. Doing the pantry challenge with you guys last year actually allowed me to find a couple of new recipes that my family and I really, really love to this day, a year later. And lemon pepper chicken soup is one of them. And then we also learned that we really like sauerkraut in our soups with sausage. That was kind of a wonky recipe, but I was like, I'll try it because we love sauerkraut. And oh, it's another one. If you've never tried it, I'm telling you what, it is delicious. And then instead of using frozen carrots, I have a bag right here that needs used up anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut some of these down. And then we will let the onions and carrots saute while our chicken cools. Carrots is something that I definitely did not grow enough of last year. So we are going to go very heavy on the carrot planting this year. And is anybody else just having the strangest weather ever? I mean, it is literally at the beginning of January. Usually by this time in Iowa, we're seeing like -20 to -30, and it's been 50 all week. It is so incredibly strange. And then I also have this big bag of dehydrated celery that I have not turned into celery powder or celery salt yet. So since I didn't pull any celery out of the freezer, I'm just going to go ahead and get this shredded up. That is so funny, you guys. I never realized that my phone holder connects and has a magnet on it. So now you guys can watch what I do. So I'm just getting some really good color on all of this. You can see the onions are starting to brown a little bit. And I did go ahead and add in some garlic salts. But since we're using fresh carrots, these will take a little while to cook down. So I am going to go ahead and add in our stock. So here is just some chicken broth. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in just another quart and let all of this start to simmer and get these carrots cooked down. I will also go ahead and add in some more garlic salt. And then we will be adding additional lemon pepper seasoning, but that will be at the very, very end. So everything is on the stove just simmering away. Sissy's bus is about to be here. It's really nice because they come to and from our house every day. So she gets on the bus right about 7 o'clock and gets dropped off around 4 o'clock. I usually always try to make sure I'm out here by around like 3:50ish. But it's really nice and convenient. And that schedule allows me and my husband to drive all the way to work each day. Because if you're new around here, our work travel is an hour to and from each direction. So I'm still able to get basically a full day of work in and still make it back in time to pick her up. Now, some days I do leave early because I'm my own boss. So like if my schedule is not full or anything like that and I have time to come back home and do like I'm doing today, that's just what I do. But her school schedule so far with the new school has been really, really nice. And it's just like allowed all of us to be able to live this far away from our work town and just make everything work and coordinate really good. But yeah, the transition for everybody has been really, really good. Nova enjoys the new school that she goes to. She does miss her old school, but she really likes it down here. And this county is the county that I graduated from. So it's just way smaller. Like the old school that she went to, it was huge. There were tons of kids. I think she had like 6 kindergarten classes. Down here, she only has 1 kindergarten class. She knows everybody, knows the teachers really well. It's just more on like a first name basis. So my husband and I have really, really liked that more because he also came from like a really, really small community. His old school is actually the one that my daughter goes to now. They used to be 2 different districts and now they are the same district. So his school that he graduated from was also very, very small. So we both just come from really small communities and we just like it. I don't know. The kids and the parents and everybody down here, like we know everybody. Up there, we didn't know a whole lot of people. So it's been nice to just come down here and see everybody and see all the kids. It's crazy. Like a lot of the parents, I'm like, I went to school with you and now we all have kids together. It just, I don't know. It's mind blowing sometimes. My entire phone just fell from one of those little suction cup holders. Clearly I need to find a different one to hold my stuff. But I was going to say, this weekend, we are taking my daughter to go see the monster trucks in St. Louis. So I might take you guys along for that. Like we've never done that before. My husband and I, whenever we very first got together, we went to go see Supercross in St. Louis. But we've never been to the monster trucks or like the monster jam and stuff. So that should be really, really fun. If you guys have ever been to it, let me know your experience with it, how you liked it. We're going to stay, I think just one night, I think. We might end up staying 2. But if we stay 2 nights, we're going to do some sightseeing and stuff. St. Louis is about 3 hours-ish away from us, and we don't make it down there very often. So we were like, if we're going to go down there and spend extra time, then we're going to do some sightseeing, go shopping, take Sissy out to do a bunch of fun stuff. So should be a very, very eventful weekend. And tell everyone your day.
Hi, I just got off the bus. Did you see it?
No, I didn't record you getting off the bus this time, but I told him I was coming out here to get ya. Oh, do you want to show him what you got?
Yeah.
Okay. Nova's got something that she wants to show you guys. She's really excited. Oh, Nova, they also all said that they loved your Christmas outfit.
Thanks.
That was really sweet of them, wasn't it?
Can I tell them something?
Yep. Let me pull in here real quick and then you can show them. Okay. As most of you guys know, my daughter has been on a Labubu kick and she has something really cool to show you guys.
Guys, look at my backpack and I'm going to show you what's inside of it.
She got a brand new Labubu backpack.
And all my Labubus are in it. I want to show you what's inside of it.
Okay, show them. Is that yours, Momo?
Yeah, and I have another one inside. I'll show you whenever we get in the house.
What's that one's name again? Tell him.
Her name is Snowball.
Snowball, aw.
And I'll show you the other one in the house. Her name is Violet, okay?
Okay.
Come on. Here's my other Labubu. Her name is Violet.
Aw.
And look, they're both girls and the eyes can move.
Do you love them?
Yeah.
They're really cute, aren't they? Yeah, Sissy has quite the Labubu collection going. A bunch of Lafufus and real Labubus. And if you're wondering why I have no money, that's why. Okay, so this has just been over here simmering away. Got my hands washed. And now I'm going to go ahead and start throwing in some of this chicken. And then, like I said, the rest of all of this is being used for meal prep. So I'm going to make some rice and then just do chicken and rice for my husband and I to take with us throughout the week. So I got a bunch of chicken in there, and now I'm going to go ahead and add in some cream. And we are also going to add in some of our orzo. I am not measuring this at all. You can add as much or as little as you would like. If you've never had orzo before, it's really good. It's like a rice pasta. I don't know how to explain it, but it's delicious. And then if that cooks and soaks up like a lot of the broth, we can always add a little bit more broth too if we need to. And then the last thing to add is just some lemon pepper seasoning. And then after this simmers for just a little bit, we will give it a taste together. Okay, so here is Sissy's plate and bowl all done. I'm not going to eat right now because I'm not super hungry. I had lunch not too long ago, but the kids at school, they eat right around, I think it's 11 o'clock. So by the time that she gets home at 4 o'clock, I always like to make sure that she has something to eat ready to go because that's a long time for a 7-year-old to go without eating. But instead of making my own bowl, I'm just going to try a bite of Sissy's really quick and give this a little taste. Wow, friends, I'm telling you what, lemon pepper in this is just, I can't even explain it, just try it. The other thing that I wanted to mention too is if you wanted to can lemon pepper chicken soup, because now that I'm thinking about it, I think this might actually be something that I try to do. You could do everything except for the orzo and the cream, and then you would have ready to go soup that's lemon pepper chicken soup. So maybe we try that in the future. But if you didn't add any pasta to this and you just add the cream afterwards, remember you can your leftovers. So I'm gonna go give Sissy her plate and I'll see you tomorrow night. What is up, guys? Happy Wednesday. So I just got home from work a little bit ago. We gotta go down to the pantry to get our items for dinner. And actually tonight, I think I am just going to do some beef stroganoff. My husband and I have both been really excited to try it. And Sissy is not like super picky or anything by any means, so I think that she'll really like it. So let's go down here and get a couple jars. And I always have this little basket down here so that I can just put my jars in it and cart them to and from the upstairs. So here is our beef stroganoff, and I think I'm going to go ahead and pull out 2 jars and see how far that gets us. And as you can see, I have quite the noodle collection right now. The Dutchman store had a really good sale on egg noodles the other day whenever I went there. So we are going to do, let's see here. I picked up several different kinds. So there's like medium noodles, there's like fine egg noodles, and then there's medium egg noodles right here. Yeah, I can't even remember what I paid for all of these, you guys, but it was very, very good on the deal that they had. But I think beef stroganoff is typically served with this kind of noodle, so this is the one we're going to grab. And that's what I love about having the meals in the jar, because all of that is already done, and all we have to do is basically heat it up and then put things with it. So for those of you that have never canned meals in a jar, I highly, highly recommend, because it makes dinner time incredibly fast and convenient. So then to my pot over here, I'm just going to go ahead and add some of these in, and then once this is seasoned and brought up to temperature, we will add in our noodles. Now, I think typically beef stroganoff is served over noodles, but sometimes I find that the egg noodles dry out like really, really fast. So I'm just going to incorporate them in with it. And then we are also going to make some mashed potatoes to go with it. So should be a very delicious dinner. And my daughter has a friend coming over tonight, so hopefully they are not picky. We've never had this friend come over before, but if they are not a fan of like stroganoff or something, I'll just make them something different. At the very least, at least most kids enjoy mashed potatoes, so I could find them something else to go with that. I'm not the type of person that's going to make a million different meals for my kid, but I also don't have a picky kid, but I would hate for her friend to come over here and not like what I'm making for dinner. So we'll see how that goes. But if you guys remember, whenever we made the beef stroganoff in the jar, it called for Worcestershire sauce. I didn't have any, so I did go ahead and just sprinkle some of that in. And then once this gets all warmed up and the fat and stuff that was in the jar melts, I will taste it for seasoning. These are the leftover potatoes that I was using to make all of our canned potatoes with. And the reason that I did not can them was because they were quite small and a little bit difficult to peel. So hopefully this doesn't take me forever. I'm just going to get a bunch of them peeled, diced up, and then rinse them off in the pot before we start to boil them. And I got a new potato peeler. I thought it would be better because this one was smaller, but I do not like these at all. I definitely prefer the like 2-leveled potato peelers. You guys have seen the other one that I use. So if you go to see these and you're like, oh, I should give that a try because it'd be easier to hold, don't do it. They are not that good. My father-in-law is outside trying to get the garage all insulated so that we can eventually move the baby chicks and stuff outside. We did get our mini split, so as soon as all the insulation and like walls and boards and stuff go up, all the babies can go outside. So that's exciting. Okay, so potatoes are diced and we just need to let them soften. And then I did go ahead and taste the base of this. And because I don't flavor my stuff as I can it, they do require quite a bit of additional seasoning. But like I've told you guys many times, I prefer it that way because the seasoning throughout your pressure canner can become very, very intense. So instead of ruining one of my meals in a jar with seasonings and stuff from the beginning, I just like to add them afterwards because I find that it tastes much better. I don't know. The pressure canner in some instances, like chili powder, for example, whenever I go to can chili, if I use a lot of chili powder, it gives my chili a very smoky flavor and it's very, very good. But sometimes if I do like garlic, onion powder, salt, things like that, or like any type of meat seasoning, I just feel like it has this weird, like almost metallic-y taste in the back of my tongue and I don't like it. So we are going to go ahead and add quite a little bit of seasoning to this, and then we will also need to thicken it up. And I'm just going to do a simple cornstarch slurry. You could create a roux in a pan and get some flour and milk thickened up before you add this into it. You can thicken it however you would like. But I find that doing just a quick cornstarch slurry works really, really good for stuff like this. So that's how I'm going to do it. And my daughter has the like perfect little play bowl. It's glass and we keep it up there for her dolls or whatever she wants to use it for. But I like making my little cornstarch slurries in here because it's the perfect size. So if you've never done a cornstarch slurry before, I'm sure there's a ratio to go off of. I just always like wing it. So I just take a little bit of cornstarch, maybe like half of a spoonful, maybe just a little bit more, I guess, because we have 2 jars in there. But then we'll go ahead and just get a little bit of the broth of whatever I am making and stick it right in here like so. And then all we're going to do is just give this a good mix around. And try not to make a mess while we do it. And then after it's all mixed around, we just pour that right back in like so. And I find that the cornstarch slurry makes it like not as thick. Like if you use flour and stuff, it's more for like a gravy base, like something that you want really, really thick. But for like my chicken and noodles, my beef stroganoff, things of that nature. Like, I don't want a super, super thick sauce. So I find that the cornstarch slurry gives me a really, really good medium, but you can thicken it however you would like. And then I am going to go ahead and just give it a little taste. Wow, that's delicious. Really, really good. Like I said, we haven't had beef stroganoff in a long time, and I have especially never canned it, so really, really happy with the flavor of that. I actually forgot that I needed to add sour cream to this as well, so this has just been simmering away, getting up to temperature, so now I'm going to go ahead and add in our noodles. It also said to add cream cheese, but I don't think I'm going to add the cream cheese. I've never added cream cheese to my stroganoff. Usually I just do the sour cream. So if you guys add cream cheese too, let me know down below. So then here is what all of this is looking like. And as you can see, it's just beautiful. Like a medium thickness so that you can still put it over potatoes. But look at how good that looks, you guys. I did go ahead and put in some sour cream with it as well. Looks incredible. Potatoes are done and I just need to get them drained. I have a massive pile of dishes to do as well. The dishes are never ending around here, friends. And it's the most dreaded thing that there is to do, in my opinion. Give me any other household chore besides dishes. Anybody else agree? It's just not my favorite. Okay, so to my mashed potatoes, these are Yukon Golds. I go ahead and put in a bunch of cream. And it always blows my mind the amount of people that don't know how to make homemade mashed potatoes. And there's nothing wrong with boxed mashed potatoes. That's what I used to do all the time before I learned how to make them. But it's so incredibly simple. So next thing I add is garlic salt, onion powder, and salt. Now, if my little girl liked pepper, I would put pepper in these, but she does not like pepper. So if you don't see me putting pepper in anything that I cook, that's why, because she just is not a big fan of it. Oh, butter. Butter, butter, butter. We need butter, friends. And usually I use grass-fed, grass-finished butter for everything, unless it's something like this or that I'm like, baking with or a dessert. And then I save my grass-fed, grass-finished butter for some other things where it doesn't need to be like easily spread around, like bigger chunks of, meat and things like that. I just think the country crock melts a little bit better in mashed potatoes, personally. I know it's terrible for you, but I feel like there's different applications for the grass-fed, grass-finished. I guess I could have got out the hand mixer, but it's just one more thing to clean. So I guess we're going to do it this way. I tell my husband all the time that if he leaves me, he's going to end up with a woman who makes him box mashed potatoes. Like I said, not that there's anything wrong with it. He's just a little bit spoiled over here because everything that I cook, like 99.9% of the time, is from scratch. And a lot of it is grown right here on our homestead. So can't get much better than that. I guess he could complain about some things, but he can't ever complain about the food quality and him always being fed because he's pretty spoiled in that regard. And if we didn't have a friend coming over tonight, I would just use the same spoon. I know people get weirded out about that, but like if it's just within our family, using the same spoon to taste things with, I don't really feel like that's weird. But since we do have a friend coming over tonight, I will use a different spoon. So good. So good. You cannot go wrong with cream, butter, garlic salt, onion powder, and salt in your mashed potatoes. I promise you. That combination never fails. Okay, so I have about 20-ish minutes before I need to be outside to get Sissy off the bus. So I'm going to go ahead and taste this with you guys and see what I think of it. Just a very, very small portion. My husband does not get home until probably like 6 or 6:30, so oftentimes me and Sissy will eat before he gets home, but I always like to make sure that he has food ready for him whenever he gets home from work. I'm very, very curious about the mushrooms in this. Like I told you guys in last week's video, it's not that I don't like mushrooms, I just don't like tin can mushrooms. So I'm really, really hoping that these do not have the same texture as those. So I'm going to get a bite with everything, a little bit of roast, onion, mushroom, potato, and cheers. Wow. I knew you guys wouldn't let me down. I knew you would not let me down. Whenever I asked if the beef stroganoff was good and everyone was like, it is, you have to try it, I knew I could count on you guys. That is incredible. Wow. Mushrooms, perfect texture. Not slimy. They don't, like sometimes I feel like with the tin can mushrooms, they're just cooked to like almost nothing. You know what I mean? They're very slimy. They have no texture to them whatsoever. Those are perfect. The only thing I will say is the green peppers that we canned, I am not a fan of. I will not be doing those again. They were just way too mushy to the point that like I couldn't even cut them up if I wanted to. But these are good. Really, really good. Yeah, I already know that's going to be a hit. My husband is going to absolutely love that. I think Sissy is really going to like that. So really, really thrilled with how tonight's dinner turned out. What is up, you guys? Happy Friday. I just got home from work a little bit ago, and Sissy is actually going roller skating with her friends tonight. So I had some leftover barbecue sauce, some leftover chicken that I didn't use the other day whenever we were canning. So I was like, let's make some barbecue chicken pizza for dinner, shall we? I had a sourdough discard pizza crust in the freezer, so I just went ahead and let it thaw out last night, and then I have just had it on the counter warming up and getting nice and ready for us to use. And I absolutely love freezing pizza dough. It's so incredibly convenient. The only thing is this one's been in there for just a little while, so it is a little bit slimier because of the olive oil and stuff that I put with it. And then I am also waking up Post Alone. If you're new around here, this is my sourdough starter, Post Alone, that I have had for probably like a year and a half-ish now. And we used to use him a lot to make sourdough discard recipes and sourdough recipes and all kinds of stuff. But he has been in a little bit of a winter slumber here recently. And I want to do a big meal prep day with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get him woke up so that hopefully within a couple weeks he will be nice and ready for us to use for some recipes. But right now I'm just getting some flour back into this and trying to get it to not be so sticky and getting it shaped back into a ball. Sometimes I have really good luck with my sourdough discard doughs. They rise really good, and then other times they don't. But this has been in the freezer for probably 4-ish months. I do not have a pizza pan, so I'm just going to go ahead and use a baking sheet. And like I said, this is just for me and my husband, so it doesn't have to be super massive or anything. But now I'm going to go ahead and get it rolled out. And whenever I make these, I like to do garlic, Italian seasoning, and salt and pepper, I believe, as well. And then I just top it with olive oil, and it gives it such great flavor. Like for the dough itself, has that very, very distinct sourdough taste, but then also just like some really, really good additional seasonings. I believe I also put some homegrown, home dehydrated basil in this as well, but you can get really, really creative with the seasonings that you use. You could also do cheese in the dough, however you want to do it. The options are literally endless. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is already ripping. Stop it. You know what? I'm gonna redo that. We need more flour. This is really, really sticky. And I think instead of rolling it out so thin, I'm going to leave it just a bit thicker so that we don't have that problem. Like I said, sometimes whenever I thaw these, they just tend to be really sticky. So you just got to work the flour in until you're not having that problem. I'm going to put just a little bit down here too so that I can just roll it around. That is really sticky. I feel like that's pretty common with my sourdough discard recipes, though. They tend to just be stickier for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why, because I used the exact recommended amount for everything that it calls for, and sometimes they just turn out like that. Okay, so now that that's really, really floured, let's try that again. Try to roll this out just a little bit. And I have the oven preheating at 400 degrees as well. And then so I don't make that too incredibly thin and sticky again, I am just going to go ahead and lay it down here, and we will kind of push it out instead of rolling it out. All right, so now that we have all of that laid out, I'm just going to take some of this homemade barbecue sauce, and this video is back on my channel. I will link it up above for you. I think it's called the Papa's Bywater barbecue sauce out of the new ball book of canning. I tweaked it just a little bit, and if you watch the video, you'll see that, but this is the best barbecue sauce I've ever made. And it is on my list to make again here very, very soon because we are about out of it. But it is absolutely delicious and very, very simple to make. I don't make all of our condiments from scratch because some condiments I'm just like, you know what, I'll buy them at the store just because I think the taste is a little bit better. But barbecue sauce is definitely one of those things that I have made from scratch that we just really, really love and enjoy. I see people putting liquid smoke in their barbecue sauce. That was one thing I did not do with that one. So next time we make it, I think I'm going to add some of it and see how we like it. And then the next thing we're going to add is some onions. Since Sissy isn't eating here tonight, I can load this up with whatever my husband and I like. I mean, she will eat onions. It's just not her favorite. So if I know that she's eating, dinner with us or something, I may add them later on. But my husband and I love onions. I feel so bad for people that don't like onions because I'm like, you guys are missing out. Whenever I was little, I used to eat onions like you would an apple. That's how much I liked them. My mom would always catch me with an onion just snacking on it. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to throw in here is just some dehydrated bell peppers. There aren't any hot peppers or anything in here, but I love dehydrating my bell peppers from the garden and then throwing them on a variety of different pizzas. They just cook so good in the oven, and the flavor and stuff that it adds is just absolutely delicious. So I'm going to get a really good amount of all of these on here too. And then the next thing is our chicken. And like I said, this is just leftover from the other day whenever we were doing our canning projects. I still had a bag left over and I didn't have a whole lot of veggies to go with it. So I was like, that's fine. I'll just find a recipe or whatever to use it for throughout the week. Typically, I would use my canned chicken for pizza because it's just a really quick, convenient application for it. But since I already had this de-thawed and ready to use, I'm just going to get some chunks cut down a little bit and we will use this instead. And then we go in with some cheese. And I don't have organic cheese options around here, friends. People ask me that all the time. They're like, why are you using Great Value cheese? And that's the only thing that we have around here. Unless I go to the Dutchman store, but even then it's not organic. It's still the same thing. So maybe I'll try ordering from Azure Standard or something sometime. I've heard a lot of people say that you can get organic cheese options on there. And I've never tried to do an order through there because I think I have to travel, I think it's an hour and a half for pickup. I did look into it a couple years ago, but I was like, that's kind of a far way to travel. But I guess if I did a huge order, it would probably be worth it. And then I always go ahead and just put some garlic salt on the top of all of my pizzas as well. Something else I really like to do is use my garlic olive oil. I've also done garlic basil infused olive oil. And then if you're making a, tomato-based pizza, you can drizzle that over the top of them. Oh, so good. Okay, and that's it. I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the oven. And then it just needs to cook for 20-ish minutes or until it's golden brown. Okay, I got this out of the oven just a couple minutes ago, so it's had time to cool down, and I cut up just one piece for us to try together, so cheers. That's so good. Now, I tend to like my pizza just a little bit chewier, but if you're a crispy pizza person, you can definitely let this cook longer. I just kind of like the crust to be a little bit chewy and crunchy at the same time, as opposed to really, really crispy. But this is really good, you guys. I know my husband's going to absolutely love this, so I'm going to enjoy dinner with him whenever he gets home, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Now, typically on the weekend, that is my period to do tons of bulk cooking because I would be cooking for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But my family and I, we all kind of decided that this weekend, because we were going out of town, we didn't want to have a ton of leftovers and just food in the fridge to come back to. So we actually went out for breakfast on this day, and then lunch we just had some leftover pizza. Dinner we were actually going to a friend's house, so my daughter was begging me for some banana bread, so that was the only thing that I cooked on Saturday. And as you can see in the back, I have a ton of bananas that were needing used up, so I went ahead and made multiple loaves of banana bread so that my daughter could have some on this day. But then we also end up taking some with us to St. Louis. And this is just a tried and true banana bread recipe. You guys have seen me post about it many times. It's the one me and my family always love, and I found this one online maybe 3 years ago, and it's just very, very consistent. Sometimes you will find a recipe, but it will produce different results every single time, and this banana bread recipe does not do that. It is very, very consistent, and that's why I use it, and that's why my family loves it. The only thing I don't do is add the walnuts. My daughter's not a big fan of walnuts, but I have made them in the past with blueberries, different nuts, etc., if Sissy is not home or, is up for experimenting. We've done it a bunch of different ways and it always turns out really, really good. But that is going to wrap up this week's video, friends. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for coming along for all of the recipes. And if you go to make any of them, let me know. So I hope you guys all have a fantastic week as usual, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.